All right, so we're going to continue looking through meditation here. Remember last time, I think we made it through the entire first page, and so we're going to start at 34, and we'll actually be able to get, I think, all the way through 57 today, because a lot of it is a repeat of the beginning, so you've done a lot of it already. But the really important thing when we start 34, we actually have to go back to 33. You'll remember 33 was an interesting measure because you played a lot of the notes on a string that you're not used to playing them. And you might remember that I said it was really important that you ended with that F natural on your second finger on G, which is a very unusual way to play that note. Normally you'd play that on the D string, and if you were playing it on the G string in third position, that normally would be 4 fingers. We're actually going up to 5th position to do it with 2 fingers. And there's a reason why, and you're going to see that in measure 34. So just to review, 33 is going to look like this. You'll start in 3rd position on the A string. Then you're going to go to 5th on the A string, 2-1. Stay in 5th, do 2 fingers on D. Stay in 5th and do 4-2 on G. So when you put that together, it sounds like this. Okay, when you get to 34, you're in 5th position, and you'll see you basically just play F naturals and E's for a while. And you might be thinking, why do I have to do this in 5th? This is a really intense part in the music, and you're going to want to be able to do vibrato when you're playing this. And you just can't really, most people can't get the vibrato they need with their pinky if they're playing it in 3rd position. So if by going up to 5th and using your 2nd and your 1st finger, you're really able to get the vibrato that you need for the character and the style of this section. For right now, we're just going to worry about the notes, though. So we have our 2nd finger on F natural, should sound like this. And then the other note we're playing is an E natural, and that's a half step below F. So your 1st and 2nd fingers, excuse me, are going to be touching. Okay, they're going to be right next to each other, a half step. Okay. This is one of those rhythms, remember I said if you listen to the piece, it'll make some of the rhythms easier to learn. This one is easier to just listen to and know what it sounds like rather than figuring out how to count it out. So if I'll play for you measure 34 and 35, it's going to sound like this. So they're actually the same, they're identical. Then 36, you can see it actually says to go back to 3rd position with that 3rd finger. Actually, I know that's what it says, but cross that out. That doesn't really make sense. I would actually do 2-1-1, cross that 3rd finger out, and when it says Sul D, that's when you're going to go back to 3rd position. That actually makes a lot more sense. So put your 3rd position marking over that G. So it'll be here. 1 and then 3 for the B flat. So let me play 34, 35, and 36. Okay. Then they have you go back in 37. I went into 37 a little bit when I just played. In 37, they're going to have you go back to 1st position on that G. So go ahead and mark that. Okay. So it'll be B flat with 3 fingers to G in 1st position. Then we're going to be in 1st for a while. I'm sorry, it's still a B flat. That's that when we were talking about minor scales and we played that augmented 2nd where it's a low 1 and a stretch 2, you actually have that in this piece. So in those 16th notes, it's a B flat to a C sharp. Okay. Open E is okay here. Low 1, regular 1, low 2. So measure 37 is... Okay. Again, the next measure shouldn't be too bad. Measure 38. Then you're going to shift, and you'll see the note they're having you shift to is an A sharp. That's the thing that I call 3rd and a half position. You're technically in 3rd, but it's a half step higher. So go ahead and at least mark 3rd, but you might want to put 3rd and a half to remind you that it's higher than regular 3rd position. So that note is up here with your first finger, and that means that your second finger, B, is going to be right next to it. That's another half step. So measure 38 is... Okay. Now in the music it says that you should then play the next B on the A string. I think that's kind of silly to do that. I understand why they have suggested it, but it's really tough to shift up there just for one note. So I am okay if you keep that as 2 fingers. So if you want to cross out that Sol A, you've demonstrated enough that you can shift up to the higher positions, and to me that one doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're going to get rid of that one and stay in 3rd position. So it'll be 2, 4 on A, 2, and back to 1st position, 2 fingers. So go ahead and mark that C sharp, the last note there, is a 1st position. Now measure 39. When you go through and listen to different people play this, almost everyone does, a lot of people do measure 39 very different from each other, because this is a chance where you can really stretch out these notes and make it very dramatic. You can choose kind of how you want it to sound. There's a big rallentando over all of that measure. So you can kind of hold out those notes, slow it way, way down, and then at measure 40 you can see it says a tempo. We go back to the original tempo. So what I would suggest you do is go through and listen to a few different violinists playing this and kind of find an interpretation that you like. And I did send a couple of videos, I think, of different people playing. So then you'll notice at measure 40, all of a sudden we're back to the beginning, the same thing that we did at the beginning of the piece. Okay, that should all be really familiar. In fact, I just played through it and I believe it is note for note. It's the exact same thing. So the only strange thing is that in this arrangement they actually put some different markings in, like they suggested different positions and different fingerings. What I would recommend is just take your markings from the beginning and put them right into starting at measure 40. You can play it exactly the same way. Everything we did at the beginning is the standard way that people play this piece, and I would do the same thing starting at measure 40. That's going to go all the way to measure 57. So that would be a good job for this week. Go through and remark all that stuff, and then make sure you have that section down, because as you can see, that's like, let's see, 2, 4, 6 lines of music that are directly from the beginning. They're a repeat, so you play actually 12 lines of the same thing repeated twice. Okay, so there's only a little bit of new stuff for this week, just that measures 34 through 39, and then from 40 to 57 is review. So next time we actually will finish this up. We've almost gotten through everything. So next time we'll look at 58 through whatever measure the ending is, and then we'll get together to work on this.